About this getting onto the stool scenario a bit better.
It's
G'day, hello, welcome to Tuesday night, the Carpet Grass Club. This is Will, I'm Lenny, and this is Stevie Moo. You don't know his face because he never puts it on anywhere.
I'm like the Oral-B dentist.
The Oral-B dentist.
Yeah.
You might need to speak up a bit because we've got microphones here for the bottom one, but the other one does not have microphones.
Okay.
So what are we covering tonight? So live on the Carpet Grass Club tonight, we'll start with a shout out to the New South Wales turf farmers. This is something that was been hanging around for a couple of weeks for them. They got absolutely pumped in those floods that they had in around Sydney, 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So the main rivers that flooded were the ones that, around the Windsor area, which is where most of the majority of turf farms are in New South Wales. So they've all been under metres and metres of water. So the ongoing effects for those guys, you will certainly feel it next growing season if you are planning a turf project. You'll feel it because supply will be almost non-existent unless it's come from far away.
With that supply too, don't be surprised with the price of turf. It's just a function of, so many hectares of turf getting damaged. They got to regrow a lot of turf that they've put a lot of money into growing that turf, getting that up. But also, because there's no availability of turf, they're going to probably have to distribute turf in a different way, either truck it down from Queensland or truck it up from Victoria, even while there's probably a shortage in some of those states. So the price will probably go up because they're moving turf around from, far away.
I broke it. Benny Cameron, how you going? He just said hello. Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. What the? Yeah.
It's not coming up on the...
Can't hear you. You have to turn your thing up because we're trying. That's Aaron. We're having a go.
Bad enough?
Yeah, whatever. If you can't hear us on the Facebook, then maybe try the YouTube. No, then maybe try the YouTube channel because it's got a microphone on it. The other one doesn't. So
stitch up.
It's a stitch up. I'm trying to find.
No sound.
It'd be Edna anyway. Who's that? Craig Grecian can hear us on Facebook. All good. Cheers. Good on you, mate. Craig's got a wicked tiff-tough lawn out the front of his house.
Heaps good speakers as well.
He's got good speakers. He's got good speakers. I can't find us on the YouTube, so it doesn't matter.
They can hear us now.
It's all good. So you got a better version of Gibbo. We do, thank you.
Make sure we tell him.
Yeah, he might be watching it. Well, he'll watch it anyway. So Gibbo can't be with us tonight. He's got a family thing going. So shout out to the Gibson family. But he should be back with us next week. And next week we have John O'Cox.
Oh,
really? I'm coming.
We're on
John
it.
O'Cox is coming next week.
Is he coming as Ask Gibbo or?
We want a rye update from Simon Rye.
Simon Rice. It's pumping. It's off charts. I'll send you a picture. Foot stripes, mate. You can walk on it and get stripes.
Yeah, it's Lenny's worried that it's not going to till her out. I'm saying, hold your horses.
Slow down, bro.
Give it a couple of mows. It'll start throwing tillers, and then it'll be dense. So, what's that? 9 days, and I reckon in another 9 days it'll be almost full cover. So it should be pretty good.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so I've got the Facebook thingo working. I can't find the YouTube, so. If you're asking your question on YouTube, sorry, not much we can do about it at the moment. We're trying. All right, so what else are we covering today? You drew the. Oh, there's a lot of writing on there.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we've seen a lot of come through lately on the page, and given the weather we've had, is a lot of people are struggling with and what starts initially as maybe a dead patch in their lawn They're not sure if it's grubs or if it's disease. More often than not, it's been disease this time of year. Any amount of the right weather, the right conditions, but also I wonder whether people are working out how to effectively feed their turf to make that turf stronger coming into winter. And so I think it's well overdue. We do a little talk about how to work out how much fertiliser you should be putting on your lawn.
Yeah, Harley reckons you've got it. Who is it? No, Ryan Murphy says you've got a great beard.
Who, me?
Yeah,
It's not. I'm only just beginning.
no, just beginning.
But yeah, I've been putting fertiliser on
It's
that
the
too.
winter coat.
No. So yeah, I think just a really a simple explanation on one, how to read the label on a fertiliser pack, and then two, how to use that label and look for hints on that label as to how to develop the program if that's your go-to kind of granular fertiliser.
Yep.
So we've got a bucket here. You can't fully see it, but it's
Hey Kyla on YouTube. I found the YouTube link. The thing is working.
it's Lawn Hub Premature,
Which is like their winter thing. I think they told me.
It's cooler months, it says. So that's a little hint, but there's also a couple of hints on the back of the pack here. Feed your lawn for up to 10 weeks. So we know that it lasts 10 weeks or 2.5 months. And then we go, okay, 10 weeks. How many weeks are in a year?
52.
So, okay, we might get about 5 feeds on our lawn with this product. But it might not exactly be 5 feeds because, you know, when it's in those cooler times of the year, we often don't have enough growth to even warrant putting a granular product out. So it might only be 4 feeds a year.
Yep.
And then a liquid product through those cooler months.
So your grass plant's likely to take in a liquid fertiliser better than a granular fertiliser in winter.
Yeah, definitely. It's more efficient because your grass isn't as actively growing, so your temperatures drop. Particularly, most of us grow warm season grasses, unless you're Lenny or Simon Rice who oversow ryegrass. But most of us grow warm season grasses. So once that temperature gets cooler, so too does the growth of the grass. It slows down.
Yeah.
And so your grass is less receptive.
Yeah.
So we know this is every 10 weeks. So let's, for example, go, okay, what's the recommended rate? It's 2.5 kilograms per 100 square meters. And I'm like, okay, cool. 2.5 kilos. What does that mean? So on the back of this pack, it tells us how much nitrogen in percentage there is in the pack.
Yep.
How much phosphorus, potassium, and trace elements.
Yep.
Like sulfur, iron, if there's any other trace elements in there. So this product, for example, Premature from Lawn Hub, is 20% nitrogen.
Yep.
So to give you an idea, so for every kilogram of this product that you put out, you're going to put out 200 grams of nitrogen.
So this comes down to where, for beginners, you will hear sometimes we will talk about your actual nitrogen or your nitrogen actual. You'll hear that expression, and that's where this comes into it. Is there's a formula for how much nitrogen, actual nitrogen, a turf grass needs per variety over a 12-month period. So couch grass is about 3 to 5 kilos. So a home lawn is probably 2.5, 3.
Yep.
You're getting up sports turf is sort of 4 to 5. Like,
Yep.
Suncorp Stadium, ANZ Stadium in Sydney, they'll be 4 to 5 kilos, probably maybe a bit more.
And there's no hard or fast exact amount. A lot of guys work off 300 grams per 100 square meters per month, and then they use their max and min temperature, so their growth potential, to work out how much of that 300 grams. So in the height of summer, you might be 95% growth potential.
Yep.
And so you're going to deliver 95% of that 300 grams in the months of January, February, December. And then in winter, you might only be 50% growth potential. What's this on?
Heard you get ScoMo on the panel.
There's always one. There's
One of
always
your
one.
best. One of your best, Glenn.
So I mentioned it before. A little hint on the pack, 10 weeks. All right. So if we put this product out, in January, and then at the end of March, so say mid-January, and then again at the end of March. So there's your 10 weeks.
and then said I'm not going to feed again over winter. And during winter, I'm going to do something like Activate Mate from Plant Doctor.
Activate Extra,
Yeah,
which is the stronger
yep,
version.
Yep.
So there's Activate Mate, and then there's Activate Mate Extra. So there's one's about 8 on the nitrogen, and the other one's 16.
That's
so.
right. And
Okay.
when you buy a bundle from Plant Doctor, you can actually ask them to swap out the Activate Mate for the Extra, so you still get it as the bundle.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
Done with Adam.
So every time at the recommended rate, 2.5 kilos per 100 square, with a 20% N, you're putting out 500 grams of actual N. And so you're going to put out 500 grams of N in January, the last 10 weeks, through to the end of March.
Yep.
And then put out another 500 grams that lasts another 10 weeks, through to the end of May. And then in July, you hit it with your Activate Extra, once a month at the 100 mils per 100 square.
Yep.
Again, or June, July, August. And then in September, or around your Reno time, either this product or a Reno product. Again, or let's just say it was this product, 500 grams of actual, another 10 weeks into November, another 500 grams. So this product 4 times a year at the 2.5 kilo label rate is 2 kilos of actual nitrogen.
Yep.
And then with your Activate Extra through those winter months, you're putting on about 50 grams of actual nitrogen over those winter months, because your plant isn't really growing that much. You could knock a little bit of iron out for colour, and so you're around 2 kilos. And so if you look at that, that 2 to 2.5 kilos for a home lawn, this product 4 times a year and a bit of liquid feeding during winter, you're pretty close to spot on into the real basic development of that nutritional program for your lawn.
So that is a 10 kilo bucket, I think. So it's application rate, they say, is 2.5 kilos per 100. So you'll get your 4 applications.
Yeah, I think that's 5, but you can get a 5 and a 10. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So if it's a 10 kilo bucket, you'll get 4 2.5 kilos if you've got 100 square meters.
Yep.
So and then 3 months of cold weather, you would use foliar.
Your foliar product, and that's like the same example for any other product. And then you can change it up. So like if you have something that's got a greater longevity, you might just look at the rate you go out at, because you need more nutrition over that period of time.
Yep.
So like if you go from 10 weeks, so 2.5 months, to something that lasts 4 months, you might have to up the rate to get the amount of nitrogen you need to deliver over that 4-month period.
Yeah. So, Goff is asked a question, was the name of the product. We're just using, it's a Lawn Hub product called Premature. We're just using that as an example because it's a nice round number of 20 nitrogen.
Yep.
If we were using urea, which is 46 nitrogen.
We saw a post, I think, come through today. It was like, how good's urea? It works. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. But 46, so round that to 50, half of the product is nitrogen.
Yeah.
So if it's a 10 kilo bag, that's 5 kilos of nitrogen. If you've got 100 square meters, that's like your whole year's worth in 5 kilos.
The other thing is there's
way more than you
there's other considerations too. So you look at the prill size of nitrogen. It's quite a large prill.
Yep.
So actually putting out the right amount and getting the right distribution of that nitrogen across your turf surface is one difficult. And then 2, the longevity of that product is 2 to 4 weeks. Maybe 6 weeks if it's cooler, but really 2 to 4 weeks at best in our kind of on warm season turf. And so it means like for something that lasts 10 weeks, you'll have to put nitrogen or like urea out kind of 2.5 to 3 times for the same equivalent, and then the rates you'd have to go at. So you end up using, it's kind of poor environmental practice because you have to use more, and generally when you put urea out, about 70% of it's lost anyway.
So if you looked at it on a graph with urea, you're feeding and it dies off really quick, and then you feed again and it dies off really quick. So it's on the ups and downs that your grass is really prone to getting disease or insect or so that sort of feed and starve thing. Whereas if you use a controlled release, I mean that's silly because that's not silly, but it's a 9-month controlled release.
That's controlled release.
There's another one over there that's a controlled release, but you get the graph is like that.
Yeah,
So you get a
consistent growth.
very consistent feed, and it's just so much better for your plant, isn't it?
What happens with consistency is you get no inefficiencies. It's real obvious. Consistency, no inefficiency. So it just means that there's no loss in when the turf plant's actively growing. It's not reaching for any nutrients and they don't exist. Like it's always going to have NPK sitting there. Calcium if you're putting it out at the right time of year. Now's a great time to put out calcium-based products coming into the winter season. Especially if you took the advantage of the rain over the weekend. If you're able to get some holes and put something like gypsum down or dolomite lime down, it was a great time to get a
Humic
calcium
acid
product.
and
Anything
folic
that
acid.
kind of you need to get into your soil profile when you're getting rains like we do, and you know you can, if you don't have a huge amount of runoff off your lawn, it's the perfect time to put those.
Friday was a funny example though, because the Weather Bureau said we were going to get 100% chance more than 100 mils.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting like 30 mils,
Yeah.
consistent across the whole day. So
Yeah.
if you're planning, and that's why we always say, be in control of your environment.
Yeah.
Be the overseer and say, this is what I'm going to put on my lawn and when. Because if you say, oh well, it's going to be 30 mil and it is 30 mil, perfect. You're beauty. But how do you know if they say it's 100% chance of more than 100 mil?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be the easiest job in the world, being a meteorologist. You can say some sort of outlandish crap, like just absolutely stuff it right up, and go Monday, you get to keep your job.
Be awesome, wouldn't it?
But
Yeah.
also like those kinds of weather events as well, like with the way you deliver nutrition means something. Like putting urea out like a week before that weather event.
Yep.
That urea is probably going to last a week and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
know,
probably mostly
Whereas if you waited for the weather event and said, look, we're not really going to get much rain on Wednesday, it's quite wet, I might just let it dry out a bit and put it out the following week, you'll get the longevity and that prill will sit there for a really long period of time, so it just makes way more sense.
So another thing we got tonight is we've got 5 merch packs from Lawn Hub to give away, which I think is a t-shirt, a cooler, stubby cooler, some stuff like that. And you can probably look it up and tell us what it is somewhere.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 of them to give away straight away. Glenn Russell's getting one with a ScoMo comment. He's getting one. Glenn Russell, you've just got yourself a Lawn Hub.
Where's the Greek freak? Simon's asking.
The Greek freak is not here. He is working, but otherwise he was going to be here. I was pretty excited about him being here because he's just a lunatic. And Clint's getting the kids ready for bed. So, mate, we just gave away one of your merch packs. So if we need something, you're there. Gibbo's here. Hey, legends, there he is. Gibbo's watching, and Max Kleining is quoting Red Hot Chili Peppers lyrics.
Guys, ask us questions. Some hard questions.
Yeah, give us some questions. Whether it's you're starting from the very beginning of your lawn care journey to the highest of high tech stuff. So just ask away, and
I did see
we'll
a
do our
comment.
endeavour.
A comment before about someone suffers badly from dollar spot this time of year and after the rain, which is something that I generally suffer from badly with my lawn.
Yeah.
I was just explaining to Wally that this year I've changed my program using some ICL products, and Stress Buster that I've put down on the lawn is just, I haven't had any sign of any sort of disease or fungus this year, because I think it's just strengthened the leaf that much more. So
there's a lot of research around like dollar spot at the moment. Well, it's probably the most researched disease. It's the most economic disease in the turf industry because it's everywhere across the world. There's probably 2 or 3 things where really strong relationships where you can get good control on dollar spot just culturally. Like one is regular rolling, and it's a bit of a weird one, but it's actually to increase leaf moisture, but not surface leaf moisture, but internal leaf moisture. So it desiccates the leaf, increase leaf moisture, seems to reduce dollar spot incidence. Second is nitrogen input. So like if you up the nitrogen input a bit, so like probably the Stress Buster's helping towards that. And then the third, and one of the real obvious ones is like surface leaf moisture management. So Stress Buster's got a little bit of wetting agent in it, a surfactant that helps probably moisture get off the leaf.
So if you dew broom or get the dew off the leaf, or have an irrigation cycle early of the morning around those dewy periods, or if you use a dew suppressant as an example, they're
That's getting
all
pretty technical.
I didn't
when
know
you
there
use
was
it.
one.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
there are, you know, they're all things you can do to reduce store spot, and then if you really want to
So
stay in check, preventative fungicide.
get the moisture off your leaf as soon as possible. Dry your grass out in the mornings. If you see footballers slipping over and they say, "Oh, it's dewy," it's not. They're just wearing studs that are this big because they think they're faster.
Benny Cameron asked if Michelle and I would end up on the same night together.
Yeah.
Well, we used to work in the same office
They
together.
used to work in the same office. So how do you reckon that went?
We used to make each other's heads explode.
PGR, are PGRs or plant growth regulators done for the season? Depends where you live. If you're in Melbourne, probably yes. If you're in Sydney, you'll be watching your soil temps and your air temps.
It depends what kind of grass you got as well.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about it. So Lenny's just oversown with perennial rye. Some of the guys down south have it full time. There's a really strong relationship between using plant growth regulators in the establishment phase and increasing turf density more early on, in that it just increases more tillering. So like when that seed comes out, it's one tiller, and then as it grows, it gets more tillers as you mow it. Plant growth regulators increase the tiller density more quickly.
If you've got a warm season grass, you're getting close.
Yeah.
Depends where you live. If you've got cool season, you can keep going. Do we need to reduce the amount of fert we put out on the turf if we're using a growth regulator? No, not really.
I'm told Tiff Tough requires about a third less fertilizer than most varieties. Should I stick to that, or can I use the rate on the package? So they would have, that marketing information would have come from R&D, so they would have been able to prove that it uses, you know, so if it's 2.5 kilos of actual nitrogen, you know, a third less, whatever that is, it's about 700-800 grams less nitrogen. And so that 2.5 kilo per 100 square meter rate of this product might drop to 2 kilos when you go and put it out.
Yeah.
So it's just a function of that grass is bred to be low nutrient use, more drought tolerant, so treated accordingly. So it probably does mean drop your rate on the label.
I think that was an issue when Tiff Tough really first hit the market. Guys were feeding at normal rates and they were ending up with exponential growth and a lot of thatch, and it was it wasn't a healthy turf with that much.
Overfeeding.
And
Overfeeding's an issue for
hybrids in general.
hybrids and zoysias.
Yeah. So you've got to look at what those grasses were bred to do. They're bred to, they're bred for increased density, basically. And so with the increased density, you've got more plant. You've got to actually, technically on a sports food, you've got to feed it more. But if you feed it more on a home lawn, where you don't have 50, 60 hours of use a week, ripping it up with footy tags or whatever, it's just going to grow freely and not have any damage to it or any desiccation. So you probably need to drop the rate of nitrogen you're going at because it's just freely growing.
Doesn't need it.
Yeah.
So Manny, the Greek god, this is how much fertilizer grain zoysia have heard shouldn't use a lot. So this is where the nitrogen actual would be. So we worked out the other week it was about 1 kilo actual nitrogen for a year. So that's like that.
That's
1
like
kilo actual.
peer-reviewed scientific research. So that's 1 kilo without looking at, that's like a rough number, and then you got to look at growth potential.
That's 2 kilos actual, isn't it?
In total, this product,
2 kilos. So it's half of that.
Yeah.
Half of that for the year.
Yeah. So if you put out this bucket across your lawn, so like 2 applications of this, then that's your requirement for a zoysia.
For Surgrange,
Yeah. Because it's,
Hello Ben Odia, how you going?
I found
Michelle misses those days. Just started using emerald green fert and humate iron seaweed combo during Smithy's past summer for his buffalo. What's the best foliar fert to use during winter, Perth, Western Australia? Emerald green fert. See, there's so many ferts on the market with different names and different brands. It's really hard to know what every fert is and what it does. So hopefully the stuff we did with actual nitrogen.
What's the best foliar fert to use during winter? We'll see, Perth, it's interesting. You guys generally, or you conventionally, normally get a wet winter.
Yeah.
So maybe even look at your moisture management, like ahead of nutrition. Like maybe look at something like a penetrant agent, appropriating your money towards that to get the water through your profile more effectively, get the moisture off the leaf, kind of dry out that surface more. You might end up spending the same amount of money ahead of like a really hefty nutritional product. Like you might be able to change it up in a different way. That's just something a bit different. But yeah, like anything that's going to darken the plant and give it that kind of real vigor. So anything with a bit of iron, magnesium in it. Have a look around.
Harley Smith, first time homeowner, struggling with paspalum, painting them out with Roundup and start a pre-emergent program. Anything he's missing or anything else he can do to get it there, mate?
Does he have
new first? Yeah, that'll help. New first home. It's a journey, and each step you take, you're going to be better off. So the more you get rid of, the less you'll have next time. Using pre-emergence is going to be the way forward for you. I think if you can hear banging and thumping upstairs, the kids have just finished dinner. So
that's what the microphones
I think
are
the
too.
thing when you see like some of these awesome lawns, I come up on the Fanatics. Like some of these guys, it's taken a lot of the guns quite an amount of time to get there.
So we started the Southeast Queensland Fanatics in 2015. It's now 2021. So it's taken 6 years for a lot of these guys to get their lawns, and they were pretty good lawns to start with. A lot of them. So mate, it just takes time.
I think also
you'll get there.
Depending on your grass types as well, Harley. Like if you do have a couch lawn, like a green couch lawn, there's plenty of selective herbicides that'll take paspalum out of green couch.
You got blue.
If you got blue, that's difficult. It's just stick to your guns. Like once you get on that pre-emergent program, you'll probably find you'll be able to really get on top of it.
John O'Cox has got a gift when he comes up next Tuesday.
He
Better
does.
be ghetto. Matthew Nugent's got blue cooch. What's the best way to get crow's foot out of it?
Knee pads and a weeding tool. That's about it.
Sitting on a milk crate like.
And pre-emergent herbicide. So
Yeah.
get the pre-emergent down and then just start hand weeding.
Yeah.
And then it's all about your timing of your preems and how you overlap it.
I had really good success in the backyard a couple of years ago with Oxifert. I found the next season there was pretty much
the beauty about oxidizone is it isn't as hard on the setback in terms of the way it works as a pre-emergent. So like things, some of your liquid preems that you can buy, they're a bit more hard on the root system, and successive use you can get root clubbing. Oxidizone, the active ingredient in Oxifert, it's a bit softer.
So that's Oxifert, and I think Oxipro has the same.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the beauty of using them with early turf establishment. When you're doing a grow-in, like if you're growing sprigs, plugs, once you get that seed up to a point, you can put it down. If you're regrowing from where your crow's foot comes down.
Is it half time?
That's the hurry up.
I was wondering what you were grabbing there.
If you were a power tool, what power tool would you be and why? Hammer drill.
Chainsaw.
So many.
Post rain, any benefit to liquid iron, or try and hold off?
Manny reckons he'd be a concrete cutter.
He'd be a concrete mixer, mate. Post rain a bit. Post rain, so after rain, do it. Don't do it before rain.
What
do it
post
after.
rain meant? Any benefit?
To liquid iron, or try and hold off after the rain.
I'd probably mow first. I'll be like mow as soon as you can without wheel mark or anything, and then get it down.
It's a good recourse for a beginner that is really keen to turn their lawn around. Recourse, I don't know.
What does he mean by recourse?
Yeah,
like just like a basic way of doing it, or
not sure.
This page.
Yeah.
You know, there's so like you can go to the search bar on the page, and there's so much information and you can start from scratch.
Winter in Brisbane, cut high or cut low? Density is what you're chasing. So if you've got a low cut turf but it's really dense, that's protecting the soil from drying out, I suppose.
It's the same anywhere.
It's the same anywhere.
Any capital city in Australia.
Yes, you can use iron all year round. Empire Zoysia. I'm a 90s girl. Maybe I am. Ben is in Victoria and he's got Kaiku. Should he raise the height of cut trim? Winter is at 13 mil.
It's a tough one. Has he taken it at 13 mil through a winter before on his lawn? Because like obviously all lawns have different microclimates. You know, what's the shade like? The sun angle gets lower, you get more shading and things. So you might be worthwhile looking at raising it if you start to notice a bit more shade off if you have fence lines or your house shade, or that there's a reason for definitely raising it. Otherwise, if you think you can get away with it, there's no real reason to go any higher.
Max wants to talk about the footy. Yeah, the Reds are doing really well. They're undefeated. This is the only footy we talk about in this house.
What happened to the Tigers? Oh my goodness. It's just one of those games.
The horse, Cam Horsley, the legend over in the West. Hey boys, generally you only knife tine during the warmer months. Is it detrimental to knife tine during winter? Should you stick to the standard solid? I'm just about to get some chisel tines or knife tines for the golf greens.
Oh, really?
I'm just going to smash them.
Give it a go.
The only thing with knife tining, like if it is the same
less
practice,
disruption though, don't you, with the surface?
are you thinking needle tining though?
No, like a chisel.
Knife tining's like, it's actually like, it like kind of cuts in a bit, and so you do get a little bit of damage. It's more like a if that's what it's right, is that what you're referring to, horse? Like actually like kind of, it's almost like you're not verticutting, but
There's
like
33 comments after this page.
Oh,
so
well.
I've got to catch
yeah.
up with.
So yeah, I'd think about it. I'd maybe look at more like a needle tine or like thinner. Solid tines.
Yeah.
You
Like-
generally get down to about 6 mil is about the
That's
thinnest you'll get with
that's
those.
probably what I'd look at, and look at like just breaking surface tension.
Yeah, Daniel, right? Yeah, we're trying to get better as we go, but we just make this stuff up as we go, mate. And our dining room is right there, so
Manny's making stuff up too.
yeah.
Apparently he's hard. That's why he's concrete.
Sure, mate. Can buff Sapphire be transplanted? Well, yeah, mate, because that's how they get it from the turf farm to you. They cut it up and take it. Mate of mine's got bare patches. He would like to fill in quickly before he's cooler and busy. Yeah, he just cuts them out and move it. David Blundell struggling to hear. Yeah, we're working on it, mate. I ordered some microphones. They haven't showed up yet. Only needs a few tweaks with the EQs and we'll be mint, mate. That's way above our heads. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. That's Harley. Yeah, good on you, man. Stay strong. You'll get there.
Yeah, there you go, Michelle. Oxford's been a godsend for her blue. So
There you go.
that gives you all the peace of mind you need for your crow's foot mission.
Have you got a small block, Michelle? Matthew Nugent? No. She's got 2,300 square metres of turf. The YouTube sound is better. That's because we have microphones for the YouTube. And we're the ones that were going to be for the Facebook haven't shown up yet. Bloody wish.com.
It's coming. It's on its way. It's the best and quickest way to get wintergreen to thicken up and be able to cut low. Currently I have to cut around 30 millimetres.
Otherwise, seems to look scalped.
Well, probably not this time of year,
But
but like it would be, you know, coming out of spring, a decent reno, top dress, and just start cutting it low from a
And stick with it.
stick to the low height, and then look at your nutrition and cutting frequency around that.
Yeah, it's all about cutting frequency with cooches looking scalped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like if your plan is 100%, 80% or thereabouts is stalk, and the top 20% is the green leaf. So if you don't cut frequently and you're cutting off more than you should, you're into the stalk and you just cut all the leaf off. The grass will recover, but the more you cut, the better that percentage is going to be, I suppose.
Is the use of grey water an effective way of combating lawn grubs? Good question. It's probably an effective way of bringing them to the surface, and then also look into what grey water it is that you're actually, like, what washing detergent and stuff you're using, because like a lot of that can be high in phosphate and can actually influence what's being put on your lawn. Sometimes around grey water you'll find things like more sedge around your grey water disposal pipe, and it's because it likes the higher phosphate content in the soil.
yeah, right.
It's more endemic to that soil type. So, look, I wouldn't say it's it won't combat them, like it won't kill them. I don't think it'll be injurious to them. It might agitate their skin and bring them to the surface for birds to pick on them. But probably look into like a preventative insecticide like a Celebrin or something.
Dazza wants to know where to send soil samples for testing in Queensland and the cost. Michelle Dickinson does that. If you, Dazza, can message me on Facebook Messenger, look for Lenny Lawler. I'll give you the deets on where to send a soil sample and how to do that. But yeah, Michelle does it in Brisbane. She does them. She does a great job.
With your inside knowledge, are there any new products coming to the market you think will have an impact on the typical lawn fanatic?
There's thousands of products come out all the time.
I don't know. I think
We're sworn to secrecy.
Yeah. No. I think the products already exist. I just think people need to we probably need to help you guys and teach you guys a bit more about how products work. Things like, I think control release fertilizer, like everyone's spraying stuff on their lawns when you can put something down 4 times and not really do much else. Like just how to appropriate the products that already exist is probably half the battle. So I think you know, a lot of the stuff is out there and it's there. You just got to learn how to use it better and teach you guys how to use it better, I'd say.
I forgot to plug my computer in instead of flat.
Oh. Is there a power board?
Yeah, just
When would you recommend to stop the application of PGR here in Brisbane for winter? Should I expect a rebound effect? Well, I'd probably look at your
thank you, Stevie.
You're right.
you probably if you know about rebound effect and stuff, Michael, you're probably on the growing degree day program. I'd start to look at like at what point your growth or even your growth potential becomes almost like, you know, not worth using plant growth regulator. I'd probably say, we always say around Anzac Day you can probably go a bit longer, but you look at what the guys on Stadia do, for example. A lot of them have already put their last application of plant growth regulator out, and the rise already, you know, a week or 2 up. So it's probably now it's time to stop.
How many applications a bumper to rid cooch mites? Done 2 in 4 weeks. And they've gone. Does he reapply? Does he apply again?
Sorry, how many applications of bumper?
Bumper. Or thumper that'd be
Thumper.
to get rid of cooch
So
mites.
that's abamectin.
Yeah, no, it's not. Thumper is not abamectin. I don't know what it is. It could be abamectin.
I thought it was abamectin. You're
But
thinking
I
of
don't
Polo.
I don't have thumper.
You don't have any?
No, I've got Agador over there.
I'm pretty sure thumper is abamectin. Generally, they don't advise for more than like 2 applications successively, and normally like with cooch mite, you probably want to do something like, I think it's called Apollo, so it's carfentrazine and abamectin together.
Yep.
Initially, because the carfentrazine is a overside, so it actually kills the eggs, and the abamectin kills the adults, and then you follow up again 7 days later with just bumper again, and that'll kill the adults, because the challenge with mites is it's a 21-day life cycle from eggs to adults. Yeah.
So
So probably not more than 2 apps.
Lawn Pride have got a product called Malice Duo.
That's it.
Yeah, which is adults and eggs, so it kills a lot. So if you're really struggling with cooch mites,
That's generally industry practice. Like
into that one.
on the commercial side, it's hit it with that Malice Duo, and then 7 days later with just the adults side, because you're trying to knock a couple of different ranges of generations.
What's about Michelle's watching this while she's sitting in the spa over on Coochie. Where are we? Kevin, he's a Celebrin. He's up today with no noticeable damage, but my nature strip over the road seems to have some active armyworm. Should I treat it ignoring the whole council land issues, or will the treatment in my lawn, or where'd that go? Keep him at bay. So, if you drew a big dude in the turf in a Celebrin and didn't do it anywhere else, and the lawn grubs came through and ate everything, would there be a big dude shape of grass left?
I don't think anyone's done that before, but look, I would say
Next trial.
I'd say that if you haven't found any armyworm in your lawn currently, I'd just stick him stick to your lawn.
Yeah.
And just be vigilant.
So if you just sprayed your lawn, but your neighbour has it, will they eat up to that boundary and then?
Theoretically,
Yes.
they might eat
Serious.
for a bit into yours, just purely because they're just eating.
Yeah. So if you want to go a little bit into the council land, then
Yeah.
probably better.
This is like a
I've literally-
preventative buster strip.
I've literally walked from my lawn 2 metres on up the footpath to my neighbours and had armyworms crawling across the footpath, but none in my lawn. So it
There you go.
literally.
Looking to start fresh and lay some Tiff Tuff in the front yard and backyard Sydney. Order early because you're going to struggle with turf down there because they've been underwater.
Ground is mainly clay and old dirt soil, 6-year-old block. On this, we're excavating 100 mil out and putting down high irrigation. That's a long one.
Ooh.
Mm.
Having irrigation installed be enough to have a wicked green cooch lawn going forward, or should it do more than 100 mil?
Okay. We see this question come up a lot on the page.
Why don't you just get what you've got tested?
Yeah.
Find out what's in it,
It's probably
and
not
then
that
you know where. If you've got grass going there now, it's not going to be too bad, is it?
Yeah. The other thing with it too is you'd probably be able to once you got that tested, even if you took out an amount or cored down to that 100 mil layer and then tested that sub layer, and then with your new fill, the best way to do it is bring in like 50 mil cultivated into the existing.
Rotary hoe it in.
And then the next 50 mil cultivate it together because you want a homogeneous root zone, not kind of a layering effect. Because what happens is if you've got falls or anything, the water just goes straight through where it drains well, hits your hard layer, and then just goes sideways.
So we got 4 packs to give away. We're giving one away, and we need more stupid questions. Basically, let's get away from the turf and ask some silly stuff.
Yeah.
And you might win yourself a Lawn Hub merch pack, which could be delivered. No, I'm not going to say Clint's going to personally deliver it. I'm not making that promise.
Stitch him up.
Stitch him right up. Have we got any good ones on there? Brendan, can you unban me, please? It depends what you did. What size hoof do I have? My feet are a size 12, which is very small for a bloke who's just over 2 metres tall.
Lenny is like the carpet grass of humans
Yeah.
because he's got like a real shallow root zone, but he's doing really well up top. You know.
Be careful what you say there, Wally.
I've got small feet for my height, but it's I've got a super high arch. I actually struggle to get shoes.
Yes,
fit
there
properly.
has. Has there been talk of it? Yeah, we've
Talked about it. It's just just get in time to get it all organised.
Manny started modelling on the weekend when he was bending over, putting his
How good was that
there.
comment? Your back seems to be splitting in half. That's the issue when you work with Manny. There's too much Manny on show.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was throwing the turf from a distance.
Yeah. Ryan, you and Wally still looking at trialling some zoysia. Well, Ryan, he laid zoysia last weekend, and I'm likely to be laying it in September, October. Yes, Manny, it does come in a big size. Who's eating all the snacks? Well, they haven't.
I'm eating some classic light and tangies.
I've been into the Korean onion rings that we bought from the shop today.
When will the Broncos win next? Before or after Brisbane temperature falls below 10 degrees at night? Tough call.
After.
I reckon it'll be after, and Carmichael Hunt will be playing halfback. Huge.
I got them from the Asian grocery store, Benny, and they're not bad.
What
Pretty good.
bar oil do you run on the still?
Still bar oil.
And where is the dip for the chips?
I don't know if you can dip light and tangy. That's a...
No, it's in a snap.
Yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
there's no.
so
Structural
we'll
integrity.
send Bradley Ferdinand's a merch pack because I love it when the Broncos lose.
I hate you so much.
Waiting for some greenies. Yeah, okay. If you would buy new property, how big square meters would your lawn be? And if you could choose, how much money do I have, Michael?
Whoa.
What sort of budget are you giving us?
Time.
in time. If I won enough money that all I had to do was look after a lawn, and I'd get like 1,000 square metre lawn.
That's a tough call.
Mm.
I'd go Grange again.
Yeah.
Just because of the quality. I said it on the post on the weekend, and I'll say it again. Like and I always get wowed by the quality when it comes off the farm. It just looks.
Beautiful.
It's just a beautiful looking grass. There's some new Zoysia greens grasses that I would probably do like Grange surrounds, and then some of the Zoysia greens grass greens themselves.
Yeah.
And I'd go decent size, like Michelle size. And I'd probably put a spar in as well and build a deck.
In the middle.
Yeah. I'm just living vicariously through Michelle now.
How are your bums after sitting on the milk crates for so long? Well, only Steve sitting on the milk crate.
Checkered. It's going to be checkered.
We've actually got got a little cushy going on here, and Will's got one too. You know why? Because we got here early.
Yeah, it's your house.
Well, I live here.
Yeah.
So who was that? Sarah, looking forward to Plant Doctor and Soil Improver Pack coming. Sold us on that one.
Nice, mice love the light and tangy chips. Get 3 a day out here. All those slopes.
First bowling green in Australia now has Zoysia.
Wow, that's
There
awesome.
you go.
How
That lawn
good's
you
that?
laid the other day already looks better than mine. That's your lawn, Will. Yeah. What's the worst injury you've had mowing? I had a close call where it was a while ago now. I bought a Rotary mower, and it had been someone had given too many ugga-duggers in the factory.
Yep.
And the plate came off
Oh.
while I was mowing. Just went and spun out the side and missed my foot by that much.
Really?
Yeah, I had shoes on, but
Wouldn't make much difference. Really.
Jesse Young says flip the crate on its side. It might be a bit softer on the tush. He's got plenty of padding, mate.
I'm alright. Good.
Really good.
I don't know. I can't think of a mowing accident. It was like an mini excavator accident once. So my mate was on the side of a driveway and the whole thing
Oh.
tipped. And I went towards the excavator and in through like the cabin, kind of like went
Yeah.
down past me.
Oh.
So it would have landed, like I would have broken my legs for sure. So like I went up through the,
I was
Sketchy.
using an edger, like a hedger, I should say. One hand, finished, swung one hand, and the blades have sort of got me on the thigh, through the pants, through the muscle. It was
Pretty close to little Steve then.
yeah, very close. That was that hurt a lot.
Greg Hutchinson, what advice would you give to someone putting in an irrigation
Water Pro.
system? Get it designed, man. Like
Mm.
Water Pro, who is also the people who do Lawn Hub, mate, they'll do a plan for you.
Yeah.
And whether you choose to buy stuff off them or not, it doesn't matter. They will do you a plan for nothing, and it'll be bloody awesome.
but guarantee the pricing will probably be cheaper than anywhere you find
Yeah.
anyway.
There's-
Because
there's-
they
We
have
get a
trade
discount through
costs.
them.
Yeah.
You know, they look after us.
And they'll tell
They're
you
really, really good.
the right brands to use and the right sprinkler heads
Yeah.
and things based
They're
on
not
the
mugs,
sizes.
mate.
And
They're
the
great.
design.
So it'll be custom designed for your lawn shape.
Definitely the best thing I ever did for my lawn was the system from Water Pro, 100%.
I have read that there is no or little point applying Ben Sims special mix over winter. What's your view on Surgrange?
Oh, I don't even remember what's in Ben Sims mix.
I think it's just like the classic, like Seaweed Secrets,
Activate,
and
probably a bit of Stimulator.
I'd say like there's, I don't know where you found that or where that information was, but unless it's like in peer-reviewed scientific literature, like the effect of kelp on Zoysia matrella, you can be skeptical either way that it won't work or that it will work. So I think maybe do a little bit of your own. If you've got Surgrange, maybe do a little bit of your own research. See what you think. I'm
Yeah.
certain that kelp definitely helps with the stress tolerance, like those cooler times.
Best April Fool's joke you've been caught out by? Mate,
I'm
I'm 6'7" and 120 kilos. No one April Fool's jokes me.
No, it went the other way. It was my brother. I got two brothers, and we set up a bucket on the door to get Dad one morning, and it was like because April Fool's was just like a normal school day. This was like back in the 90s, and Dad opened it, and it like went the wrong way, like it didn't land on him, and it just wet all the carpet, and we ended up having to like clean it up. We got in shitloads of trouble, so it just backfired real bad.
Ever used an Aldi mower? I did, and that's the story of the thing falling off and nearly hitting my foot. That was the
Is that one of those like Sandleys or whatever?
No,
What's that?
the garden line. I think it was the garden line.
Classic.
Yeah, nearly hit my foot. That one.
Although I had a mate that had a garden line electric hedger that was like 15 years old.
Couldn't
One
kill
of
it.
the beasts, absolute beast of a thing.
Favorite rotary mower?
Yeah, that's
It's right there.
an absolute weapon.
That's the Bush Ranger 18-inch battery mower. You got the
I
16
got the
inch,
16 and it's
the battery
magic.
mower. But if you're looking for something commercial, I've got a Bush Ranger. What is it? 140R petrol. I love that thing too. It's great. I used that to scalp my lawn out there the other day. It was great.
What made you decide on Grange this season, Lenny?
It's a time thing, Benny. I legitimately don't have the time to mow 3 times a week. And Surgrange will be okay with me just giving it once a week loving.
Oh, if that.
If that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's just time, mate. Like, my hybrid is getting disease too often for me, and I'm a bit cranky at it. Zoysia is so slow going, it doesn't realise that it's still wet at midday. Hasn't woken up yet.
Yeah.
No. So it's just time, mate. It's just because how slow it grows.
You got a lot of shade here as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Where are we?
This one
Explain.
explain the benefits of and importance of a systemic fungicide as opposed to contact when it's raining regularly. Michelle, you're the disease person.
Well,
aren't you?
I was going to say, yeah, well, a lot of it comes down to like the active ingredient, but also like the rain fastness and the longevity of the product. So like, we've seen Mancozeb get thrown around on the page like heaps of late as a contact. It's extremely water soluble. Like you put it down, it's gonna work like instantaneously on what it touches. But you know, you might get a shower come over within an hour or two, and then straight away it's gone. You know, you're better off putting in that preventative.
Well, you're invited soon, Michelle.
Yeah.
Well, there was one on here.
We should just do like a really disease heavy one.
Do the wives know how much you actually spend? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. That Surgrange law looked good, but I mean, how much I spent.
Ben, hang on, Max. Can recommend root shoots throughout winter. Great kelp content.
Isn't it root shoots and leaves?
No, that's a wombat.
Oh.
East root shoots and leaves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Any tips on how to stop the kikuyu from flowering? I heard that 2-spec can help, but have got the lawn hub stuff already. So 2-spec elevate, I suppose, is the fert. I don't know much about that fert.
How? I think how can a fertilizer stop a? It's probably just the type of nutrition. So like, it's probably not a brand or anything. It's probably like the way the nutrition's delivered, I'd say. But a plant growth regulator can stop a kikuyu from flowering, and probably that would be the one that I'd back in before anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're the oldest cylinder mower you've used or owned. I still have, and no, I've got a couple of Model 33s.
I got a 1954 Adco, like 2-stroke kickstart.
Yeah, I've got a
No.
1952 Mobile Co that sits in the garden,
It's in the front garden.
sitting in the front garden.
Yep,
Because I couldn't do it, I know, and it's kickstart as well.
Yeah, right.
I have a supercut.
Beast.
I don't know when you get a couple of supercuts. They're from the 1950s.
Yep.
Is Michelle drip feeding because she wants to stall again?
Yes, probably is. Yeah, so probably 1950s. I don't know what the Model 33s are, but I gave them to John O'Cox. He's going to pick them up next week.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, they're no good to me.
I think they're late 50s, early 60s.
Sarah Louise, do you have a favourite cylinder mower you would recommend for kikuyu? Definitely one that weighs a lot. So, with warm season grass, now this is just my opinion. I'm no expert. I'm just a retired wharfie, redundant wharfie.
Redundant, it's better.
With cool season grasses, they tend to be fairly soft, and the mowers push them over pretty easy. So the lighter mowers, like a Swardman, are great on them. But when you get into cooch lawns, kikuyu lawns, buffalo lawns, they're heavier. They need a heavier mower. I just forgot what I was saying.
They're more robust.
Well, a bit more robust. I like the engineering in the Swordman, but there's some things I don't like. But anyway, so something that weighs more, so because you need it to squash down and sit hard, otherwise it starts floating a little bit and you get an uneven cut.
It's called Marcelling.
That's what it's called. There you go. So he's the expert. I would say a Super Swift is a good thing. Mass ports can be pretty heavy. If you can afford an old restored Scott Bonner, get into them.
Sell your car.
Sell a kidney.
Depends what height you want to cut as well, as to how many blades you want,
Yep.
and then the regularity you want to be cutting. Because the more regular you cut, the more quality of mower you want to buy, because you want something that's got hardened steel blades that don't wear out easy.
Yeah.
One you want to get 20 bed knives out of or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to mow your lawn 3 times a week, you probably want to go something, and the size of your lawn, you probably want to go something a bit bigger. If you want to cut it lower, as opposed to just a straight 6 blade, you probably want an 8 blade.
Yep.
So not just the thought of the mower, but it's the thought of what you want to do with your lawn with the mower as well. It's probably going to influence it.
So the finer the leaf, sort of the more blades you should have on the
Yeah,
reel.
the
get
lower the
click
height
rate,
cut.
all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a couple. I've got a Mowmaster high cut 26 inch. You want to grab that and stick it up on the bench?
No. Thanks for asking.
Because it's 165 kilos.
Yeah.
So yeah, heavy is good for a cylinder mower for warm season grasses.
Can I use a plugger on Surgrange to fix bare patches?
Yep. Now it just takes time.
Yeah.
A lot of time. Will's done a study recently that shows that a lot of zoysias don't actually start producing rhizomes until they're 2 years old in the ground. Been like 2 years.
Yeah. So like, you got to give them, initially give them time to get established.
Hey, Benny Sims is
And
watching.
then once they're established, they probably start to grow a bit more like what the research shows. Like they do end up growing like Bermudas eventually.
Yeah, right.
But you just got to get them to that stage, and if you can get them to that stage, it's happy days.
Just keep the dogs off them until they get to that stage.
Yeah.
Applied tombstone to my tiff tuft to fix a few fungal issues a few days before we got hit with the rain in Brizzy. When would you reapply? When the rain stops, mate.
What's it say on the label?
Well, read the label.
Michelle's come back and said 21 to 28 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she'd be the one to ask anyway.
Yeah.
Do you rate bush ranger mowers for the homeowner? Yeah, absolutely. Yep, they're really good. Brisbane company, so it's not like a multinational it's not. They're family owned.
The guys that run it have been fixing cylinder mowers for about 1 million years. And
and the rotary mowers have been in that industry for a long time. So, RG, what is it? RG Spares or whatever it is.
GA Spares.
GA Spares.
Yeah.
You see them in the shops. That's them. They've been around for a long time. Rate them.
Yeah.
And they stand behind their products. Because I'm not famous. Do you get discounts? No, I'll charge you more, Gary. Got a cow helping me cut my grass. He's a lawn mower. Oh, crap.
Does he deserve a pack for that?
That's pretty good.
Clint has to personally visit him as well.
100%.
For that one.
He lives at Cashmere. I do his lawn. Yep. All right. Craig gets a pack for that. So how many have we given away?
3, I think.
That's 3. So we've got 2 more to go.
Who'd we give away? I'll write them down.
Yeah. Glenn Russell for the ScoMo.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah. GA Spears is based in Burp and Gary. Oh, just how many burps did Gary do to get a suburb named after him? Like, he must have been really good. Have you heard it's a home 31? If so, what do you think? It's nearly. How low does a HC Mowmaster go? Technically 10 mil, but I think you can get them lower than that. I think it says on the side 10 mil, Ryan, but I think there's guys in WA who've used them, and you can wind them down to about 7 or 8 mil, something like that.
Have you heard of Don't get me started on
Oh.
size. Yeah, all right. How much time do we have, Lenny? No.
No, well,
Patrick's about to go for
we've
that.
reached our hour, but
I'd say if you're like genuinely interested, go and have a look at the ANTEP, the National Turf Evaluation Program. So it's these trials that they run in the US where they compare all the different turf grasses to each other. Tahoma's bred for cold tolerance, does well in some of the cooler parts of the country. Tiff-Tuff does well in some of the warmer parts of the US. You know, similar in their quality, similar in their colour. I've seen it at a trial locally here at Brizzy. Doesn't look too different from something like Agri Dark or Santa Ana or Tiff-Tuff. But once they start putting the treatments on, so the wear, the stresses and things, is when grasses show their true colours, and it takes about 3 years in research to see the true colours of the grass. I'd say that, you know, be careful with marketing hype and do your own research. That's probably as simple as you can.
Who's got the prettiest refurb cylinder mower out of the three of you? That's the only Scott Bonner I have.
I actually have one.
I don't even think I've never tried to start it. But yeah, that's it.
While I was in uni, I actually refurbed one, and it's still at mum and dad's sitting in the shed.
Really?
And it's a solid deck. Yeah, so it's like that. Solid deck 17.
He went
45.
Stevie Mowing's these.
Yeah, yours would be a weapon, wouldn't it?
He's got a couple
I've
of
got a couple that are in
the old web pushies.
Oh!
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. I
Wow.
have probably the rarest one. I'll have Scott Bonner tow tractor as well. Not many of those around.
Oh,
Is it
wow.
right on tow
Yeah,
tractor?
yeah.
So, and I'm doing up a full race spec 590 as well. So, see how that goes.
Apart from battery life, what are the cons of a battery rotary mower? That's it.
Not having enough batteries.
Yeah. If you
Just get a couple of batteries.
if you run out of if you're halfway through your lawn and you run out of battery,
Yeah.
well, you got to wait for it to charge up again. That's it. That's the only downside.
So
is-
the Bush Ranger one actually has a
How do you-
twin battery system as well. So if you have two batteries in there, it just automatically switches over
Yeah,
when
How do
one
you go
goes
with like
flat.
blade wear similar to like a normal rotary or better? I know the cuts is like as good if not better
Yeah,
because
it's
it's like
really good
cleaner
cut.
cut.
Yeah.
No, it's a bar blade on that, not a swing back.
Yeah,
But pretty good. Yeah,
it's
I've
really
changed one blade.
but you don't have to worry about oil or anything. You just turn it on
No.
the side and just change it, don't you?
No, you
yeah.
tip it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
You tend to get less because I use one in the backyard, obviously, and you tend to get less wheel imprints because the mower is, even though it's a steel deck mower, it's lighter, generally
Yeah.
a lot lighter than a petrol mower.
Keen to see you rocking that on the rye.
That'll be
in that
that'll
early stage.
get a crank this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I need to mow it soon 'cause it's getting pretty long.
Yep.
How do you stop Tiff-Tuff from seeding? Have been applying PGR, which has slowed it down, but not the seed heads. Might want to look at your nitrogen, maybe. No. There's a number of things that why.
It's probably
reduces
it's
seeding.
probably just the it could be the cloudy conditions at the moment too, like the daylight integral. Normally like day length and daylight integral, like we don't talk about it enough, but that has a huge implication on how grasses go to seed.
Mm.
So you gotta look at these things are perennial and they're supposed to spread. Like in nature they're supposed to spread.
Yeah.
And so certain times of the year, like this time of year, coming into spring or like winter into spring, you'll probably find that a lot of Bermudas or Coochers will throw seed heads because it's just that type of day length and daylight integral actually it is what it does in nature.
Yeah.
It's supposed to send a seed head, throw seed on the ground, go dormant, and then come springtime, the seed's supposed to germinate.
Mm. Brisbane's a hot spot for carpet grass. Yeah, so it should be.
Any advice to tackle it, particularly in Queensland blue couch grass, whatever it's called?
You want to get rid of it. You want to get rid of carpet grass.
Yes, Lenny.
Why?
It's taken me 11 years to get
Who's
it out
this
of my
bloke? Who
lawn.
is he? No,
Yeah, mate, you're not one of our people. If you don't like carpet grass. Are we saying metsulfur and methyl or not?
well, there is actually a registered one, but it's not registered for use on carpet grass, but it's registered for use on turf. I have to check if it's registered for use on Queensland blue couch. I think it's called Lynx.
Yeah.
By Dharma. It's active ingredients metsulfuron. You'll have to look it up.
Be very careful with metsulfur.
Yeah,
It's very super strong.
The only thing that I'd say, like all that aside, if you want to get rid of it, it's the old classic hand pull we saw.
Yep.
Pre-emergent herbicide, hand pulling, and or Roundup.
Yeah, I went through the stage of hand painting the carpet grass with
Glyphosate.
glyphosate.
Otherwise, a really effective way is just a knapsack, really
Links.
low pressure,
Yeah, next.
and then glyphosate, like a whole patch, and then just plug in New Queensland Blue.
Makes the same links as the product.
Yep.
Where were we? You're going to steal my mower apparently. Michelle reckons for your Surgrange.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah. You'll come home one day and it'll be gone.
Yeah, well, I think I hide it in the back of the shed. Paul's in Melbourne. Beauty. I forget what your question was, mate.
Russell's come out with another dad joke.
Yeah. That's a good one too. My dad used to tell me he only ever made half the lawn. When I asked which half, he said the top. All right, you can have one. Russell Newman.
Russell.
What are we up to? Have we got him? Glenn Russell Newman. Who else was there?
That was that really bad cow joke.
Yeah, that was Craig
Craig.
Grecian.
Yep.
And I think that'll do.
There was 4, wasn't there?
What's in the thermos? It's not tea. No, it's orange staminade, Harley. Orange staminade. Serious? It is. Wally's still there on Wednesday mornings, still offering advice to a camera that's been switched off at night. Sportsman's paying $1. Benny Cameron, yeah, write him down. He's in there.
one?
Yeah. Oh, Brad Ferdinand. Thanks, Max. Yeah, write down Brad.
Got me good.
Is it best to aerate now straight after rain in Brisbane or wait for it to dry out? You don't want to get bogged, but aerate any time of year. The more you aerate your lawn, like the rare orange staminade, that's it. If you can aerate your lawn twice a year, you're doing pretty good. That's a better thing than just doing it once, obviously, but...
Yep.
What's your thoughts on aeration? I mean, I'm not going to speak too much on aeration because I do it for a living, so I don't want to talk myself up too much, but...
Well, I've borrowed your aerator at the moment.
You have. So give it back so I can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hollow tines would be more in spring for the reno.
Yep.
And solid tines in the cooler months just to let
Get some
water
air in there.
And
Yeah,
also, like,
right,
if you're trying to get something into the profile as well with your hollows, like you can hollow twice, if not 3 times a year, if you want to be that aggressive. Also, like if you want to fast track, like trying to get as much change to your profile as you can. Like if you've got quite a heavy profile and you're not gonna rip it out and dig heaps out and start again, then more hollow tining and regular top dressing is probably your game.
So someone who's probably heavy clay soil wanting to get sand and break down the profile a bit.
Get gypsum in there as well.
Usually the more traffic your lawn gets, the more often you should aerate. So if you see like the Stadium Australia and stuff, they'll aerate like monthly.
It's because of function of compaction. It's just
Terry Smith.
compacting.
Tezza! I used to unload his trains there at the port.
Yeah, right.
I've noticed with all this rain in Brisbane lately that loads of worms crawl out of the grass onto the concrete. First couple of days rains obviously to dry ground. It's still raining. The worms have now stopped moving to the concrete. Does this mean they're all dead?
No, it just means his neighbours picked him up and eaten them.
It means someone's going fishing.
No.
I'm still getting worms coming up out of my lawn now. I've still got worm castings everywhere, little mounds of dirt. So
I've never really watched. I've never watched it that intently, but I'd say that you'd still have a decent population of worms in there. The reason they're vacating is there's just no oxygen in there.
Would you use an aerator that goes 24 inches deep? Sure, send me one for free and I'll have a go.
Thanks, ADE.
Yeah, I don't have a tractor, but I'm willing to give it a crack. Would you rather top dress with soil or sand? Sand. For me, sand. It can depend what you're top dressing on.
Interesting question though, because there is a if you soil test and your soil's pretty good, and your profile's quite good, you can actually pull the cores out and bust them back up and kind of top dress with that.
Yeah.
So like, and then another way, like another reason why you'd top dress with a certain type of soil is to marry with what your existing site soil is.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Kyla, if you'd have asked that question like 10 minutes ago, you would have got a merch pack, but we've given them all away. If you said that joke, because it's a good joke.
Clint can just send another one through, surely.
Well, I'm not putting pressure on Clint
Quick,
for that.
send him a text.
No, because he told me to send me a hoodie.
Oh, stitch up.
Yeah, who does? Michael Collingburn, who does soil tests in Queensland? Michelle Dickinson does. She's in the group. Or if you want her details, send me a private message on Facebook Messenger and I'll pass on her details to you so that you can arrange a soil test. Yeah, she does them at a real good discount rate for us, so yeah, she's really good at it. So there's only 3 in the world. Well, they should make more. So
Who's this?
the 24-inch deep aerators. Isn't that good? You want more? Get one.
24 inches.
24 inches. Yeah. Yeah. That's. You might as well just get a dozer with a ripper.
Yeah, or a spade.
Yeah.
Just dig holes.
We're just about finished. Yeah.
Getting the wind up.
Get the wind up.
we need Michelle to play the music. The Oscars wrap up music.
Full time, isn't it?
Bruce Willis used the last one on Deep Impact.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, the Zooper Duper holder, customized Zooper
Yeah,
Duper
love
holders.
it. Thanks, Shell.
Send one to Lenny. You know you want to. Yeah, of course they want to. They want to send me stuff, but they don't. Because they claim they don't have one. And I don't have a tractor.
No.
Got an Isuzu truck. That's about it. All right, so we might wind it up there and say farewell for the evening. Next week we've got the lunatic himself, John O'Cox.
It's going to be massive.
Oh, just so looking forward to next week.
I'm coming.
You'll come. There's room on the couch. Well, we can.
Yeah,
We can make
be
more.
cozy. Is Gibbo back?
Well,
Maybe.
hopefully, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think we need to wheel the bench out and put a coffee table or something in the.
It's heavy, man.
It's on wheels, isn't it?
It's still heavy. That's like 3 mil steel each one. Each
Yeah,
piece.
right.
It's bloody heavy. So yeah, all right. So thank you very much for watching again, and hopefully next week we'll have the other microphones, so we can hear more of the children upstairs.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
We need to get headsets, Lenny.
Yeah. Can you explain?
Yeah, like 90s AFL.
I did the process for people to oversawing rifle in a. Yeah. Check out the Fanatics YouTube channel. I did a video on that last week. And Lawn Hub also has a YouTube channel that you can check that out on.
Yep.
Oversowing rye into winter for warm season grass.
Yep.
So cool. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
You have to go over there and press stop on both of them. Does that one go? Are you sure? Yeah, we're sure.
How's that?
It's good. Good. It's pretty good.
It's good.